Every time you have to write something, it goes back to the core of what we do in analytical reading and writing. So the reason that our course is one of the first courses that you will encounter at Temple, and certainly a course that you will take in your first year, is that it will give you the foundation, it will give you the skills, it will give you the techniques, so that any writing assignment that is put in front of you, you will know where to start. You will never sit there and stare at that blank screen and say, you know what, I have no idea what to do now. We will teach you those techniques, we will talk to you about how to develop ideas, we will talk to you about how to structure ideas, how to form arguments, where to go for research, how to do research. And so whatever writing task comes before you for the rest of your college career, you can think back to the course that you take in first year writing, your analytical reading and writing class, and it will be a very strong foundational course. It will be the block, the cornerstone on which you will build your whole writing experience here at Temple. The analytical reading and writing course is an opportunity to bring the skills that the students already have into the classroom, to develop them, to build on them, and also to introduce new skills that maybe students haven't had in a writing classroom before. We have a sequence of assignments that are very carefully calibrated and very carefully designed to introduce students to the main areas of academic writing that we feel they need going forward as they go through the general education sequence and as they go forward into their own major. So we concentrate on the evaluation of sources, how to find information outside of the classroom, and obviously a lot of this is to do with internet research. But the evaluation of sources is incredibly important. You can't, for example, be quoting The Onion as, you know, a satirical online newspaper. So it's very important to approach the idea of what the source of material is, who's behind it, what the purpose of that material is, who's the audience that the material is aimed at. Another element that we are very keen to introduce and to work with students on is that of argumentation. I think we've all seen, you know, those news shows where the idea of argumentation seems to be the person who shouts the loudest wins the argument. We're working on a model where a respect for different forms of argument is very, very important. And this is what education is. It's to understand other points of view, to see where those points of view come from, even if you don't agree with them. And then to give yourself an opportunity to refute or support those arguments. Revision has always been at the centre of what we do in the first year writing programme, and over the past few years, and as we've moved into the general education version of analytical reading and writing, we've been able to develop our ideas about revision and the amount of revision and the way that we do revision in the course. Each paper will be reviewed by the instructor, and the student will get feedback obviously from the instructor about revision. There will also be peer review workshops where the instructor will group students together into small groups where they will read each other's papers and they will give feedback on each other's papers. And this won't be feedback like, I thought your paper was really cool. This will be, you know, how do you think this person developed their introduction? You know, is the introduction effective? Do you need more in the introduction to be able to follow their argument? How does the person organise the sources that they use? Do the connections between paragraphs make sense? Is there anything in the paper that was unclear to you? Is there anything that you thought the person should have followed through on that they didn't? But writing is one of those interesting things. One of my teachers once told me, if you're an artist, you have a canvas, you have your paints. If you're a sculptor, you have your block of stone. If you're a writer, and if you have to write something, before you can start carving that stone, you have to make the stone. The carving, that's the revision, that's the shaping, that's the finishing, that's the polishing. And we'll work with you through all of those stages. One of the main books that we use in this course is a book called Science of Life, which is a reading of popular culture. It's a semiotic reading. It's looking at the signs and the messages that popular culture give us. So one of the assignments that we use would be to look at the idea of what makes a personality or a product or a celebrity or a political figure become iconic. We encourage students to look at international figures so that it's not just about the way that American society judges icons and the way that American society decides that someone transcends celebrity and becomes iconic, but other societies around the world and other cultures will have different reasons for elevating someone to the role of icon.